What's up, my fellow nerds? I hope you're having a super day today, because today I'd like to talk to you about the game, a superhero game, Ascendant. I started play role-playing games. Of course, the first game, like most, was Dungeons and Dragons. But quickly after that, my friend Joe, he got the Marvel superhero set by TSR, and so I quickly fell in love with that game. And I got Advanced Marvel Superheroes role-playing game shortly after that. GM'd that for many years. And it wasn't shortly, but shortly after that, I saw the black box, Superman and Batman on it, DC Heroes. So I had to get that. And I fell in love with that game system, just like I fell in love with Advanced Marvel Superheroes role-playing game. I loved Marvel's setup because it had the charts. You got a green result, you knew you hit the villain. If you got yellow, you knew you slammed them. You got a red result, oh, you might have killed someone. And with DC's, it just DC Heroes allowed for so many steps of like strength. For every AP, it would double in like your strength. So that was a great way to keep track of, who was stronger. Who's better in a fight, right? Is it Mighty Mouse or Superman?
You think Mighty Mouse could beat up Superman? What are you, cracked? Why not? I saw the other day he was carrying 5 elephants in one hand.
Boy, you don't know nothing.
The friends that GM'd the games, Marvel and DC, and we both thought about how great both systems were, but they both had something the other system didn't. And so we used to kind of imagine how we could merge the two together. And I think that's what is done here in Ascendant. So as a matter of fact, Alexander McChris, the author of the game, says it right here in chapter 1. We have sought to synthesize what was best about the two games into one cohesive system that surpasses both in robustness, comprehensiveness, and verisimilitude. Whether we have, in fact, succeeded is for you to judge. The art in the game is good. It's good on the inside. It's good. The cover's okay. The cover I think could have a little bit of more dynamism, action going on in there. It's good, but it doesn't catch my eye like some other covers like this one. But again, the art on the inside's great. It's good. Some of it, though, some of the art is risque. It's not something that I would actually want to have sitting around on the coffee table when guests came over. If they opened it up, I'd be like, yeah, well. Or maybe it's not something you want to have kids look at. Reminds me a little bit of heavy metal. Like both Marvel and DC games, the game is filled with charts and benchmarks. Something that I think that most superhero game masters and players, or even comic book fans, come to love. They want to know who's faster, who's got more agility, Spider-Man or Daredevil. To some, that might be a no-brainer, but to others, there might be an argument there. So that's what the stats are for. The benchmarks, the grids, the charts here in the game are too. Character creation is not unlike DC heroes, but it's a little bit more complicated. It's probably more the level of Hero Games Champions or GURPS. When I started reading, I started getting intimidated by the math. I'm not a math nerd. I wish I was, but I'm just not. So this was like, but I was like driven into the game. I was excited, so I was like, I'm going to figure out how to do this, even if I have to get my scientific calculator. But luckily, I don't have to do that. I came across a Word Excel that they have out there that helps you do most of the calculations for the character, so don't have to pull out the scientific calculator and go back to math class, where time seemed to slip backwards or pause. Ascendant is intended to be a generic role-playing game, a superhero role-playing game that game masters can use to incorporate their own universe into. However, Alexander has built his own setting into the game so that readers can enjoy it and be inspired. Alexander portrays his superhero universe Ascendant through news media blurbs and social media blurbs in the beginning of the book. The origins of superpowers is caused by experimentation on humans in modern times. Character creation is much like DC heroes in that characters are built with character points and that there's SPs instead of APs to demonstrate attributes. Some of the attributes are might, representing something like strength, agility, valor. This is like your combat ability. Resolve, it's your willpower. Insights, like your intelligence and charisma. There are also secondary attributes that represent such things such as height, your weight, or your income, your passive spotting, passive listening, your income. And lastly, for your character attributes, there are also the variable attributes that are such things as health and determination. Character creation can get quite math intensive, so this can be intimidating to those that are so friendly with math. However, to make things easier, luckily I came across there is a Excel for character creation, Excel character creation sheet. This simplifies the math and does most of the math for you. There are over 100 pages on powers here, ranging from wall crawling to superhuman strength, cosmic powers, to even cool things like necromancy. You can build just about any type of superhero with these powers. If lost in how to build a character, a player or GM could look to all the sample characters in the book. There are several sample characters and animals and everyday people, criminals, even first responders and military personnel to give you a basic idea what their basic stats would be. And if that's not enough for you, there's an amazing amount of benchmarks. Oh, and GMs, geeks, superhero lovers, we love our benchmarks. An amazing amount of benchmarks can be found with charts that represent damage, character height, how loud something might be in benchmarks. A player or a GM can really nerd out on this. There are even rules for natural disasters, bombs, and the damage that they do. Also harkening back to DC heroes and face-rip Marvel superheroes, there's hero points that can be used to power stunt. Particularly, I remember that more in Marvel, the power stunts. You can also use them to increase your chances of succeeding. There's even a section on real-world superpowers. This really shows that how much that Alexander really did his research on the book and really nerded out here for us. An example that can be found here is deflection at 9 SPS. Samurai swordsman Siu Machi can cut a BB gun pellet fired at him in half with his katana. That's an amazing ability. Wall crawling, or how about flight, hovering? French inventor Frank Zappato hoverboard enables him to fly at 110 miles per hour. You can see that on YouTube. That's an amazing sight. Just like something out of the original Spider-Man movie. This section alone is a little over 2 pages of world superpowers. Impressive. Situations are usually resolved by using a color chart, much like in Marvel, each color representing how much damage can be done or how well you succeeded. There's a table of contents and there's an index. That is definitely a plus. Final thoughts. The art in the book is good. The content is excellent. It shows definitely a love and passion by the creator. Did a lot of research, took time to do it. Even had some gameplay tests. Some of the art in it is a little risque, leaving me to feel a little uncomfortable, leaving it on the coffee table for guests to see. But for those that are feeling a little apprehensive about it, especially with kids, there is a PDF of it with no art. It actually says something about. On drive-thru, they give it 4.5 stars out of like 75 or 76 ratings. So 4.5 stars, that's 4.5 stars, that's a pretty good rating. The PDF itself can be bought for about $20.